everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Combat Talk. I'm your favorite MMA host, Sophia. I know we missed a couple weeks, but, we're back and better. So, we're going to go to a commercial break and then get the show rolling. We got Robbie Lawler to talk about. We got fight announcements. And we're actually going to switch it up this week because we know it's not just MMA we talk about. We talk about all combat sports. We're going to talk about the NCAA Wrestling Championship Tournament coming up next week. So stay tuned, guys, after the commercial. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Time to dig in to the show. First of all, Robbie Lawler has now just got inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Now, we're going to talk about some of the things that he's done in his career. Fun fact, Robbie Lawler actually started when he was 19 years old, and now is in his 40s. Crazy, I know. Now, let's go through his career. We're going to go and summarize some of it, because I know some of you are like, let me go through a long list. No, we're not doing that. So, we're currently on the ESPN's website, and now we're going to look at it. We have Nico Price, knockout. That was his latest fight in 2023, most recent. Then we have Josh Koscheck, a knockout that everybody wanted. If we go into the history of MMA, Josh Koscheck is probably one of the rudest people you will ever meet, and no one likes him. I don't know how he has friends. He deserves to be in prison because no one likes him. Did he do anything? No, I just don't like him. Simple as that. After that, we have Jake Shields. Robbie did lose to him, but it is still a name that we all care about. He did beat Carlos Condit for the title. I think that was actually one of his title defenses, so I do recommend that fight. It is a war. I do recommend it to anybody that's looking for an exciting fight and an interesting fight. So stay tuned for that fight. Go look into that. Then we have Johnny Hendricks. This was a win for Robbie. It was a split decision, but Johnny Hendricks and him did fight, I want to say, a couple times. And that was a war, too. On to our next fight, we have Frank Trigg, who's actually a ref now. What? Frank Trigg? Reffing? No. That's so sad. But good for him, I guess. Then we have Nick Diaz. The first fight was in 2004, and Robbie let down his guard. That didn't go so well for Robbie because he got mad that Nick was saying stuff to him in the middle of the fight, like anybody would. Then Nick knocked him out, and then 2021 hit. Sorry, guys. 2021 hit. Nick Diaz came back. Did not look at his peak. Hopefully Nick Diaz comes back, but we'll look further into that. When the time being, Robbie did beat him because Nick did quit in that fight. However, onto Donald Cerrone and Robbie Lawler. Yeah, it happened. It did go to decision, though, but it is what it is. Well, that was some of Robbie's noticeable knockouts and career highlights for him. He also did fight Rory McDonald twice. Bloodbath. I will say that. Check out those fights. I do recommend the second one because it is a little more entertaining because Rory's still trying to get his title back, but he wants to get a little bit more revenge because he feels like he didn't show as much in the first fight. So I do recommend the second fight between those two. I do highly also recommend the Carlos Condit fight because you will see how much these two have cardio and how long they go the distance. Both of them were tired after this fight. So I do recommend it, though. It's a very intense stand-up fight. We know that Robbie didn't really like going to the ground because he didn't really have like a jiu-jitsu background or like a wrestling background. So that was probably his area, not so confident in. Now he's actually just coaching. So we thank you, Robbie Lawler, for your memorable career, and thank you for giving us memorable knockouts. And thank you for knocking out Josh Koscheck because Josh Koscheck, you suck. There, I said it. Ta-da! Now, into our first song. We got One by Metallica. Tune in after that because we're going to get into some wrestling. Stay tuned, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Combat Talk. That was one by Metallica, the greatest. Now, for a short segment, we're gonna get into our fight announcements of the week. Now, maybe these fights maybe got announced a couple weeks ago when we weren't here, but we're still gonna talk about it anyway because it's fights, guys. So our first one, we have Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Then we have Raul Roses Jr. versus Vince Morales. We got Tony Ferguson versus Dylan Dennis in the GFL. We got Chandler versus Armin. And then a questionable fight that might get signed, might not. But it's in the talks, so we're going to talk about it. Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway for the third fight between those two. We got Mason Jones versus Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens is making his comeback to the UFC for a fight night. Then we have Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueroa. And then Bo Nickel versus D. Ritter. Now, let's break down these fights, people. First one, Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Kamaru Usman is very powerful. Joaquin's got good striking, but he's got good wrestling, and so is Kamaru. I'm going to have to pick Kamaru Usman. I just think he's able to control the fight better and he has a lot more power, I think, than Joaquin. He's also fought the who's who. Yes, he did not have a great fight against Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards got the title from him, and then Bilal got it. Yada, yada. We know how it goes. Kamaru, I hope you take it. Hope and praying, buddy. Then Raul versus Vince Morales. We're going to go Raul. He's just a lot better striker. He's a lot younger. He has a lot more stamina and cardio. So Raul will be the pick for that fight. And then we have Ferguson versus Dylan Dennis in GFL. Why this fight was made, I do not know. I don't know who crackhead but made it on GFL. I don't care. Because what were you thinking? Like, why? GFL, come on. You gotta do better, man. Apparently I can't talk again. This happens every show if you guys have watched. But Tony Ferguson, if you are able to survive this fight, good for you, man, because I don't know how CTE didn't get you. So, that's beyond me. I'm going to call Tony Ferguson because I'm not that big of a Dylan Dennis fan. Dylan Dennis hasn't fought in over like 3 or 4 years. Probably longer than that. And he's strictly just done grappling. But good for him if you got good grappling. Then, last fight we're going to cover. Bo Nickel's winning. Davidson's winning. Jeremy Stephens is winning. If Poirier fights Holloway, I'm going with my boy Holloway. My Holloway fans know where I stand. But now, into our next song. We got Velvet by Jaden and Sace. This is a new song. I hope you guys check it out and like it. So I'll see you guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Combat Talk. I'm your favorite host, Sophia. That was Velvet by Sace and Jaden. I hope I said his name right. Now, we're going to go into the first part of the Wrestling Championships for NCAA's tournament. Now, let's go into the brackets. The first bracket is the 125 division. Luke Liddell will face either the loser or the winner of Caleb Wyan versus Marcelo Milani. Then we have Max Gallagher versus Blake West. We have Caleb Smith versus Nick Babin. Charlie Farmer versus Sheldon Seymour. Richard Ferrero versus Coda Holman. Antonio Lorenzo versus Dean Peterson. Mark Anthony McGowan, however you say his name, versus Brendan McCrone. Joey Cruz versus Vincent Robinson. Eddie Ventresca versus Gylon Sims. Cooper Flynn versus Spencer Moore. Nicolas Rivera versus Trevor Anderson. Tristan Daughtry versus Jet Strickenberger. Troy Spratley versus Kayvon Brawler. Tanner Jordan versus Steve Poland. Maximo Renera versus Jacob Moran. Richard Castro Sandoval versus Matt Ramos. Okay. I have a hot take because this is actually something that's bothered me since the qualifiers for the Big Ten. How is Matt Ramos in this? You lost in the finals match. Now, granted, I might not do wrestling, but I do watch, and I have worked with wrestlers and stuff to help me in jiu-jitsu and MMA. How do you lose the finals match and still qualify for the championships? Please tell me. I would love to know, because this is the most stupid thing that I've heard and watched. Matt Ramos, I've been a fan for a long time. My Indiana people, he is from Purdue. However, why? Just, why? What makes you think, okay, I'm going to lose the final match, but I'm going to still qualify? I don't know. Please tell me. But then Luke Liddell, I want to say he's a freshman. You guys can let me know. Luke Liddell, I'm going to pretty much say takes the cake for the 125 division. He's been doing really well. He's placed number 1 for the qualifiers. So we're going to see how he does. I think there's some people in here, like Spencer and Cooper, that are going to give him a hard time, but I think Luke Liddell takes the 125 division. He's been doing really well, so we're going to see next Thursday how he does. Now, into the 133 division. We got some names in here. So, people, let's go over it. We got Lucas Bird is going to fight... Sorry, train is interrupting me. Lucas Bird is going to go against the winner or the loser of Nolan Warrington versus Hunter Leak. That's a funny name. Sorry, I had to point that out. Then we got Jacob Van D versus Ryan Miller. Braxton Brown versus Kyle Berwick. Kurt Phipps versus Braden Davis. Dominic Serrano versus Colton Camacho. Angelo Rini versus Ethan Oakley. Tyler Knox versus Blake Borman. Tyler Ferreira. Oh. Sorry, guys. Lovely producer moment just happened. Tyler Knox versus Blake Borman. Tyler Ferreira versus Seth Romney. Nazir Bailey versus Derek Cardinal. Takeo Davis versus Ann Fugit. Evan Frost versus Tyler Wells. Ethan Bernick versus Connor McDonald. Sorry, guys. Oh, that's great to happen. Oh, my God, where was I? Nick Bosax versus Kai Oren. Sean Spittle versus Dylan Shawer. Anthony Noto versus Julian Farber. I'm sorry, guys. That's a really funny moment that just happened. Kenan Moore versus Drake Ayla. Who's taking him? Okay, let's look at it. Let's get a deep look. Oh, God, guys. Let's see. Drake Ayla is taking it from Iowa. Why Iowa? I don't know. Iowa's doing really well right now, guys. That's the 133 division. When we come back from our next song, we're going to get into the rest of this, and that will be our last segment. I'm so sorry, guys, for what just happened, and that it has to end like this. But we're going into one of my favorites. I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace. So, bye, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Combat Talk. That song was very fitting because thanks to our producer, she had a really moment. Yeah, I hated everything about that. Sorry, guys. On to our next division for the NCAA Wrestling Championships, one of the greatest events all year. We are going to hit the 141 division. We got our very own Jesse Mendez, who is from Crown Point and is now at Ohio State, people. This division is probably going to be one of the most exciting divisions that we ever see. Now let's dig in, people. We got Brock Hardy fighting the loser of Lorenzo Freza and Nash Singleton. We got Shannon Hanna fighting Wyatt Henson. We got Jacob Frost versus Jason Miranda. Can't talk today, apparently. AJ Rallo versus Andrew Alirez. Chapel. I was listening to Chapel Rowan earlier, so that's why it's stuck in my head. Shale Happel versus Danny Pusino. Dylan Chappell versus Sam Latona. Todd Carter versus Joshua Saunders. Jaden Scott versus Josh Connerham. And now everybody's favorite in the 141 division, we got Jesse Mendez versus Brian Priest. We got Moshe Schwartz versus Sergio Lamelli. Dylan Cedino versus Jordan Serrano. Grayson Clark versus Vance Von Bar. Tegan Jameson versus Elijah Rivera. Josh Edmond versus CJ Composto. Joseph Oliveri versus Julian Tab. And one of the most entertaining guys in the 141 division, Bo Bartlett versus Jordan Titus. For the people that watched last year's championships, we do know Jesse Mendez fought Bo Bartlett in the finals. It was very exciting, very fast-paced. So we're going to see who makes it to the finals. I do think that final rematch will happen. Bo Bartlett has improved a lot. Jesse Mendez has done a lot better. So, yep. God, we love that. It's just one of my greatest things ever. So, Jesse Mendez, I think, takes the cake again, unless Bo Bartlett is able to take it this year. On to our next division. We got some stuff happening in the room right now, so it's not my fault. So if I get yelled at. Oh my god, I love when my teachers just say stuff to me during shows. 157 division. Please don't interrupt me, Jennings. Tyler Kasich will fight the loser of Richard Phelan versus Leda Johnson. DJ McGee versus Cody Chittum? Yeah, it's his last name. It's a very fun episode for you guys. Tommy Askey. What are your names, people? Do your parents hate you? Like, honestly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm not. Oh my god. Tommy Askey versus Dylan Evans. Sonny Santiago versus Joey Blaze. Brandon Cannon versus Christopher Hamblin. Logan Rosenke versus Caleb Fish. I probably said that wrong. Don't care. Jared Hill versus Trevor Chumbley. James Harrington versus Rafael Hippolyto. Antrell Taylor. James Conway. Kobe Sebrish. Whatever. Got some other people too. Got Chase Salday. Got Noah Castillo. Got some exciting people. Joey Blaze from Purdue. But, yeah, it's an interesting one. Then you have Chase Salday. I want to say he transferred to Michigan because I don't think he was always at Michigan. But I think it's going to come down to Joey Blaze and Chase Salday, who are some of my favorites. But I think Joey Blaze has a good opportunity to show what he's got. Hopefully he's improved a lot. Also, Chase Salday, he's been having a rough year, so we'll see if he does any better. On to our next division, the 165. Also, can I just say, what are, like, these random numbers that they pick for the divisions? 157? Like, 158? Can we stick to 155? Can we not be stupid? Okay. Don't shade me. I want a sponsorship. NCAA. Hit me up. Anyways, the loser of Chandler Amaker and Jared Kessler will fight Mitchell Mesenbrink. Got Noah Mulvaney versus Kyle Mosher. Cam Steed versus Caesar Alvan. Nick Hamilton versus Cameron Amini. Okay. Julian Ramirez versus Mac Church. Joseph Bianchi. I read that right. Apparently, I thought I didn't. Versus Christopher Minto. Will Miller versus Gunnar Flipowitz. Dang, that's a cool name. I want that name. Derek Fields versus Taro Berklow. I don't know. Don't ask me. Mike Salindo versus Aiden Riggins. Jake Thompson versus Jake Rhodes. Braden Scholes versus Enrique Minjua. Ted Lillard versus Bo Montano. Whatever. Hunter Garvin versus Patty Gallagher. Thomas Snipes versus Andrew Sparks. Nico Ruiz versus Max Mayfield. Cody Goble versus Payne Hall. Who do I think is taking the 165 division? Ooh, let's see. I'm not really familiar with these people because a lot of these people are not that good. So let's go. We're gonna go with. Let's see. We're probably gonna go with Michigan. So Bo Montana, show out for me, buddy. So we're gonna see how that one goes. On to the 174 division. Let's see who's in this. We got the loser of Jake McGill versus Branson John against Keegan O'Toole. We got Sergio DeSante versus Lorenzo Norman. We got Carson Kochara versus Lennox Wallach. We got some exciting people. Who is taking the 174? Once again, pick fair numbers. Stop doing 174. Do 170. What's so hard? I don't understand. It's not my problem, though. Avery Bassett or Levi Haynes. Levi Haynes is taking it this year, guys. Yep, that's right. I said it. On to the 184. Who is taking it this year? I don't know, guys. How do I know? Carter Starochi. That's all I had to say. Ooh, on to the 197 division. Let's go through and summarize. Josh Barr looks good. Levi Hopkins is doing so good. Gabe Sollers. There's a guy named Wolfgang Frabel from the Army. Who names their child Wolfgang? I don't know. It's kind of cool. Kind of not. Don't care. Even Bates. I'm not really too excited about this division, to be honest. There's not somebody that's drawing my eye. But we're going to go Luke Stout from Princeton. I hope you do well, buddy. I don't know who you are, but go you, I guess. On to the last division, 285. This is big boys. We got Gable Stevenson. We got Dan Pitzer, Trevor Tinker, Gavin Hoffman. Oh my god, I cannot talk. We got Luke Luffman, Colton Schultz, Nolan Neves. I am not the greatest fan of Gable Stevenson, but he's been showing out this year, and I think he's a senior, so hopefully he shows out for his second to last year or his last year. Going Gable Stevenson. This is probably going to be some of the exciting championships this year. I hope you guys stay tuned and watch it next Thursday. We will be back with the results of that day for Friday's show next week. Just letting you know. The NCAA tournament, I think, is probably one of the most predominant things to watch during March Madness. Just saying. If you're not a basketball fan or you're not maybe a volleyball fan or stuff like that, and you're kind of into combat sports, I would check that out. The tournament actually takes place for 2 to 3 days. So Thursday will actually start at 11 a.m. and then go till I want to say 8 o'clock at night. And then the next day it'll go later in the afternoon and then end a little bit early at night. So Thursday and Friday and Saturday, I want to say. But if you guys want to check out more on that, there's the NCAA Tournament Wrestling Championships app that AT&T is with. So you guys can download that and check it out. And they have every bracket that I just listed off. And they also have ESPN Plus that you can watch it on. You also have different events you can check out on the app to help you stay in tune with the championships. And it also gives you the time, so you can also tune in on the app and just watch it through there. With that being said, this was this week's Combat Talk. I'm sorry we didn't have previous episodes. It just happens, guys. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have some results and some updates for you guys. I'm your favorite MMA host and Combat Talk host, Sophia. We're going to go into our last song, Gasoline by Monty Skin. Stay tuned for next week, guys. I'll see you guys then.